There are wounds that do not bleed, yet they never stop hurting. Never mock a wife who lost her good husband in tragedy. Because what you see on the outside is not the life she's living on the inside. She still wakes up every morning, even when she wishes the night had never ended. She still prepares breakfast for children who keep asking questions she cannot fully answer. She still ties little shoes, packs lunches, and forces strength into body that feels like it is collapsing from within. And at night, when the house finally goes quiet, she becomes everything at once: mother, father, protector, comfort, and silent mourner. She tucks her children into bed alone. She smooths their hair gently, trying to steady her trembling hands. And when they ask, when is daddy coming back? She doesn't break the world. And when they ask, when is daddy coming back? She doesn't break their world. She doesn't tell them the full weight of reality. She just whispers softly, Daddy can come back, but he loves you very much. And in that moment, she dies a little inside again. Because no words can explain what it feels like to replace a presence that was once a home. A husband is not just a man in a house. He is protection in silence. He is a laugh in the hallway. He is a hand that steadies life when it shakes. And when that is gone, the silence becomes deafening. People do not understand this kind of loss until they live it. So it is easy for the world to judge, easy to talk, easy to mock, easy to assume she will move on. But grief does not move on. It learns to walk beside you. She's still learning how to breathe without him. She is still learning how to breathe without him. Still learning how to smile in front of her children so they do not inherit her brokenness too early. Still learning how to be two parents in one exhausted soul. And the truth is, no one truly understands the depth of losing a spouse. Because as it is written, husband and wife are not just two people, they become one flesh. So when one is taken, it is not just a person who is lost, it is part of the self that is torn away. She never mock, so never mock her silence. So never mock her silence. Never question her strength. Never assume she's fine because she's still standing. Because standing is not healing. Sometimes standing is just survival. And if you ever meet a woman carrying this kind of pain, do not add weight to her shoulders. Do not add weight to her shoulders. Be gentle because she is already carrying a lifetime of love and a lifetime of loss at the same time. The woman who looks okay is often in survival mode. A grieving wife who has lost her husband, especially suddenly or tragically, doesn't usually stop functioning. She has children, responsibilities, routines, and no option to collapse fully. So, what happens internally is not peace, it's compartmentalization. Outwardly, she smiles when needed, she answers questions calmly, she attends school events, family gatherings, basic life duties. Inwardly, she is replaying memories constantly. She's managing waves of shock, anger, longing, and disbelief. She is suppressing grief so it doesn't spill onto her children all at once. This is not healing, it's emotional survival under pressure. Many widows describe it as I function, but I'm not okay. Why the world sometimes adds more pain instead of support. What you're calling violence often shows up in a different forms: gossip, judgment, comparison. emotional coldness, or social exclusion. It does not usually come from one single group, like mostly women or men. In reality, it turns to come from a mix of unhealed people projecting their own insecurity, social competition or jealousy dynamics, lack of emotional intelligence around grief, people feeling uncomfortable with deep loss, so they distance or judge it instead of holding it. Sometimes, when a grieving person is still standing, others misinterpret it as she should be over it by now. She looks fine. So it wasn't that deep, or unfortunately, envy or resentment toward her resilience or past life. But none of those interpretations reflect the truth about her internal state. Why people sometimes target a grieving wife specifically. A wife who lost a godly or deeply respected husband can unintentionally become a symbol in a community. She represents what was lost. She represents a life others compare themselves to. She represents a story people project meanings onto. And when communities lack maturity around grief, that symbol gets distorted into judgment instead of compassion, comparison instead of empathy, curiosity instead of care. So the harm is not healing her. It is often emotional ignorance, insecurity, or misplaced projection. It is not a spiritually aligned behavior, even if people justify it socially. Does that behavior heal her or children? No, it does the opposite. Real healing for a grieving widow and her children comes from emotional safety, consistent support, patience with their silence and moods, respect for their loss, allowing grief to exist without pressure. When people add judgment, pressure, and cruelty, it creates delayed grief, grief that gets buried, not processed, emotional shutdown, distrust in community, deeper trauma for children learning how to handle loss. Children, especially, absorb everything. They don't just lose a father, they also learn whether the world is safe when pain happens. The deeper truth about grief in families. When a husband and father is lost, the entire family system changes. The wife is not just a widow, she becomes emotional anchor, financial stabilizer, often protector of children's emotional reality, keeper of memory and structure. So if the world responds with coldness or judgment instead of support, it compounds the original loss. Grief becomes not only I lost my husband, but also I lost my support system. And now I'm being emotionally tested by society while trying to survive. A grounded truth to hold on to. A grieving wife does not need correction, comparison, or pressure. She needs space, dignity, emotional protection, and time that is not rushed by others' discomfort. Because healing is not something people can force onto her. It happens slowly, privately, and often quietly, while she still shows up for her children every day.